sometimes wonder, do you think YouTube would have survived, or even thrived, if it had just continued to be silly amateur content? The success of TikTok and its infinite amount of no-budget videos suggests that maybe it would have, that the spirit of YouTube was lost. We went from things like a man telling you about an elephant, a drugged-up child rambling, another child complaining about his brother biting him, a man with a deep voice singing about sugary precipitation, a man in a Tony the Tiger shirt and a neck brace constantly swearing, parodies of David Blaine, and terrible child singers we all openly mocked. We went from that to channels with a fucking production crew who think they're making real television. And at least one of those channels grossly overestimated how much money their audience would be willing to pay to watch them, given that the current price is free or best offer, and they have a million competitors. Let me tell you about Watcher. They're one of easily a dozen channels that broke off of other larger media conglomerates who found out years ago how unprofitable making free videos on the internet is. See also Drawfee, Dorkly Bits, Dropout. That's a lot of D's. Somewhere an OnlyFans girl's mouth is watering. No, but they used to be 3 dudes who worked for BuzzFeed. They either quit or got fired or I don't know, but they started doing their own versions of the shows they were doing for them. BuzzFeed Unsolved became Ghost Files and Mystery Files, and they created another show called Puppet History, in which a puppet called The Professor hosts an educational comedy quiz show. Well, I guess they managed to make that one really immersive, because for the first time, their fans all found out what it was like to be the professor as the boys all stuck their hand right up your ass. In an extremely overproduced 15-minute video that, hilariously, started with a double ad break, the boys explained that after 4 years of releasing content for free on YouTube, they have decided to launch their very own streaming service, Watcher TV, and that going forward, all of their new content would be put behind a paywall. And people were pissed. Within about 2 days, they lost nearly 100,000 subscribers, which is, to be fair, only a small fraction of the nearly 3 million subscribers they had. And the comments on both the video and all their social media platforms were universally negative. They announced the price to be $6 a month or $60 for an annual membership, which they said, "We chose this price because anyone can afford it." And oh boy, that went over about as well as raisins and potato salad. I don't know, maybe you think that $6 is cheap. There were a smattering of people defending this, saying things like, any nicotine products, coffee, energy drink, alcohol is all more expensive. Hell, you can't even get a burger from fast food for $6. And yes, on an island unto itself, $6 is cheap. Especially when Biden wants to hand you $20 an hour just to work at McDonald's. But it's not just $6, it's another $6. And I get the irony of talking about this when I advertise my Patreon here every single week. But I would never in a million years go, "It's just $5, you poor fucks, give it to me." I express my gratitude, and I don't put my entire library behind a paywall. But everyone wants your money. Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Spotify, YouTube itself wants you to give them some money so that they stop showing you ads every 5 minutes. Plus, every other asshole you watch also has a Patreon. They'd like you to help them out too. And then, you also have to buy groceries, pay rent, pay for an internet connection to use all those streaming services, pay for gas to fill your car up so you can drive to work to make more money for someone else to stick their hand out and ask for it. And yes, maybe you would like to enjoy the occasional coffee, beer, or burger from fast food once in a while. So yes, $6 is something everyone who's listening to this can afford, but another $6 might not be something everyone can afford. And Watcher, can I give you some tips on how to ask for money? I won't even charge you for them. When you do it, maybe try not to flaunt how much money you already have, or tell people what you plan to waste it on. The opening shot of the video is, apparently, the view from their office. A piss stream's length away from the fucking Hollywood sign in downtown Los Angeles. Wonder how much that costs, and if they need to be there. Also, as part of the announcement, after telling us they're going to use the money to fly a film crew to places like Scotland to try and find non-existent ghosts, they announced they were going to launch a spiritual successor to a BuzzFeed show called Worth It. Let me tell you the premise of this show. All three of these goobers, along with cameramen, sound techs, fluffers, whoever's on staff, go and eat expensive food, sometimes halfway across the world, to determine if it's worth it. Was it worth it to alienate your audience? Give us $6 a month. We can't survive unless we make a show where we fly 2,000 miles to eat $700 lobsters with Shang-Chi. But this is what happens. They've lost touch with the world. Not that I should have expected that a bunch of people who spend time looking for ghosts were firmly in touch with reality to begin with, but, like, one of the dude's wives posted on social media in defense of the whole thing. I get people don't like to pay for things that were once free, but paying people fairly and making a survivable living while making cool things is hard. The day before this, she told the world she just went out and bought a tote bag for $100. $100 for a tote bag. You don't have a fucking clue what survival is. So then, like 3 days later, they issue an apology. Real classic YouTubers stare into the camera and read a prepared statement bullshit. They claim that, actually, they should have been upfront with you. Watchers actually dying, and the only way for it to survive at all is for you to please subscribe. And, oh, I know we kind of forgot to say thank you to our fans in that previous 14-minute video. We had time to tell you how cheap $6 is and to show you our offices in LA and fit in a double ad break, but, you know, thanks for watching. And because everyone got mad at us, instead of locking everything behind a paywall, we're gonna make it all early access. Paying viewers will get it a month early. Then we'll upload it to YouTube for those of you who just can't scrape 6 Georges out of your wallets. Sorry. But who told them this was a good idea? It was just over a month ago that Warner Brothers announced that they were going to kill off Rooster Teeth because it wasn't profitable enough. They had previously done the exact same thing. It was a bunch of YouTube channels that decided to put all their content people actually watch behind a paywall. They're apparently looking at selling it off for parts now. Imagine seeing that and going, well, we know better than Warner Brothers. What do they know about running a successful media empire anyway? Oh, right. But they already had an idea of the number of people who would financially support them. They have a Patreon. It has, or maybe had, about 5,800 paying customers. I would love to know how many people they thought would sign up for this, knowing that only 5,800 out of 3 million people gave them money before. What were their projections? A third of their YouTube subscribers? 1/10? 1/100th? I don't know, but my guess is one of 2 extremes that prompted the apology. One, like no one subscribed, so they went, actually, we're broke, please help. Or 2, like 100,000 people subscribed and they went, oh wow, we're gonna be rich now. Fuck it, free YouTube videos for the poors. But listen, I get it. It's not just 3 dudes. They apparently have something like 30 people working for them. They said in the video, they don't want to lay anyone off, and they want to make, as they put it, TV caliber shows. But maybe that's just not possible on YouTube, even with a Patreon and monetized videos and sponsored ad breaks from shitty perfume companies. Maybe that's the type of content you need to shop to the big boys. Get Jeff Bezos to pay you $100K an episode to go shove champagne bottles up your ass in France or whatever you want to do. I get wanting to stay independent. I really do. Which is why I keep things simple. And you might have to do that too. You may have to make some sacrifices and simplify. I don't know. Something to think about while you're spending thousands of dollars looking for ghosts at some old Scottish sheep fucker's rotting castle. Maybe, just maybe, the spirit you should be looking for is the fucking spirit of YouTube.